Well, welcome back to Cal Poly Pomona. Dave Sobera on the play-by-play. So glad that you could join us for the first game and now the second game of a doubleheader on a Saturday from Scalinos Field. Of course, in the first game, it was the Pirates who won 3-0 over the San Diego Force. The Force have actually switched uniforms in this game. They went from a dark blue to a light blue. I don't know if that's because they only had one hit in the first game and they're trying to buck out of that trend, or if it's just because it's a lighter uniform and it's a very, very hot day here in Pomona, as it usually is when it's concerned with this field. We'll get you the starting defensive alignments and the starting lineup for the Force in just a few moments, as the Pirates have now taken the field. And we have a lot of different players starting this game in Game 2 of the doubleheader compared to Game 1. Here is the defensive alignment. From left to right in the outfield, we've got Matthew Reynoso in left field. He came in as a replacement in the 5th inning in Game 1. We have Nolan Henley. He did the same, but didn't come in the field. He only DH'd in that game and came in and had 2 at-bats in that game. Bryce Cherry. These are all the guys who came in the middle of the game and now are starting Game 2 here right now. Going left to right across the infield diamond, we have Anthony Virgin, Fernando Escobar, Channing Varela, George Ortega, and behind the dish is Christian Kelly. So Anthony Virgin is the only repeat starter. The rest of them, Varela and Ortega, actually are entirely new. They weren't in the first game, so that is your starting lineup for the Pirates. Meanwhile, here is the starting lineup for the San Diego Force. Leading off, it's Mitchell Esser. Batting second, it's Kobe Roaming. Batting third, it's Tim Williams. In the cleanup spot, Cole Johnson. Batting fifth, Josh Davis. Batting sixth, the designated hitter, John Montgomery. Batting seventh, the shortstop, Elliot Lowell. Batting eighth, Gino Rudolph at third. And batting ninth is Brandon Ledanger in left field, and they will send up an extra hitter. That is Andrew Mellon. Both teams will have an extra hitter for this game, as we are just about set for opening pitch of Game 2 of the doubleheader at 1:50 p.m. Pacific time, as Sean Patton will be the starter for the Inland Valley Pirates. He fires his first pitch. That's swung on and fouled out of play, and it's 0-1. Sean Patton, 6'4", 190-pound, right-handed pitcher, going against the left-handed hitter, Mitchell Esser, who also led off the last game, as that is a breaking ball that absolutely freezes the hitter, Esser, and it's 0-2. So a nice start here for Patton against the first batter. Just underway in Game 2 of the doubleheader, as this one misses low and away, and it's 1-2. Sean Patton will be a sophomore at Citrus next season. Here's the pitch from him, as this one's low, and it's 2-2. Well, this past season as a freshman, he was a first-team all-conference selection, put up some really good numbers in 17 appearances. Of those 17 appearances, 6 of them were starts. He was 5-4, 2.07 ERA, and in 65 innings, 62 strikeouts, so nearly a strikeout per inning for Sean Patton this past season as a freshman. A lot of guys from Citrus College on the Pirates or the Bucks. Here's the pitch, and this one is lined over to the shortstop and over his head. That, of course, is Escobar, and the first man is on board here today for the Force. Well, if you remember in the first game, going back to about 11 a.m., the Force actually got their first 2 runners on base. Now, neither one of them was a hit, but they both came on base, and they ended up advancing to second and third with 1 out, and the jam was averted. And then from that point on, it was pretty much all Pirates, although the Force did have another inning in the third where they had runners on first and second, but that's pretty much it. Koval and Erott were just sensational, only allowing 1 hit while striking out a combined 12. It was Koval who had 7 strikeouts in 4 innings, and Erott who had 5 strikeouts in 5 innings. As this one misses out. Oh, it's in there for a strike to Kobe Roaming. Kobe Roaming, the second baseman, batting second. Did the same in the first game for the Force. As There's a lot of the same lineup in for the Force. At least the first 5 batters are all the same for them. While the Pirates have had a major change. Virgin is the only person who started the first game over at the hot corner to start this game as well. The Pirates now, in the second game of this doubleheader, they are 6-0. They have now increased the number to 43-8. That is what they are outscoring their opponents so far in those 6 games. Only 8 runs allowed in 6 games. Very, very good numbers for this pitching staff. Sean Patton fires, breaking ball, bunted, and that will roll foul. Christian Kelly alertly allowing it to go foul as it was initially in fair territory and then kind of rolled out of play. So the Force, if you're the Force, that might be a good idea right there to try to get a sacrifice bunt here because they haven't scored anything today. In fact, in the first game, they only had 1 hit. As we mentioned in the first game, back at 11 a.m., I don't know if you were listening or not, but Mitchell King is the GM and owner of the San Diego Force. He is the third base coach today. There are other 5 coaches who normally travel with this team had previous obligations as this one misses high for a ball, whether it be at the collegiate level or the high school level. So that left Michael King to be at that third base coaching the Force today. Sean Patton working out of the stretch, checking the runner at first and now coming set. Taking a long time and now fires home a breaking ball that bounces in the dirt for a ball. We also want to say that we understand that there were some technical difficulties with the interview in between games. I'm not sure if you caught it or not, but Cody Erod's headset malfunctioned, so some of his interview you could hear and some of it you couldn't hear. That headset was given to us by the Power, so maybe there's a little conspiracy here as there's a pickoff throw over to first base. Although they also gave us this soundboard, and that's working fine. But it didn't look good when I first opened that headset and I saw the box that it was in. It just looked like it was beaten up to Kingdom Come as this one misses low for a ball. Kelly doing a nice job to stop it and make sure it doesn't get to the backstop as the first hitter in the game did reach base, Mitchell Esser. Sean Patton is certainly a lot more deliberate than Koval or Erod. They were working very quickly as this one's a fastball swan, and this is hit very high and foul behind home plate. And got back much farther than I thought it would have gotten because I thought for a second that it might hit my tent and go through and, you know, make a hole in my tent. And that would not be good because we still got a lot of games to go. It's still really just the beginning of the summer season here at Cal Poly Pomona. It's still the top of the first inning. Here in Game 2 of a doubleheader, this one's swung, line drive, lifted out to the outfield, and making the backhanded grab is Matthew Reynoso for the first out here in the inning. Reynoso retires the first out in this game. We just talked about it, but, I mean, these outfielders for the Pirates are very, very quick. And Reynoso, of course, is no exception to that. And we also have a bunch of rocket cannon arms, like lasers out there in the outfield. Patton comes set. Here's the pitch. Breaking ball high and in for ball 1 to Tim Williams, the right fielder. Tim Williams, of course, showing he has some good foot speed as well out there in right field in the first game. Wearing 42, I'm sure, as a tribute to Jackie Robinson. This one swung on and fouled out of play down the first base line. Of course, you can't wear number 42 if you're in the majors, but you can if you're in college or any other level, so you might as well take advantage of it while you can. Sean Patton, majors in business. A lot of business majors on this team, or business administration as well. Here's the pitch. This one misses Not quite sure if it was higher in or maybe a little bit of both, but it is a ball nonetheless, as it's 2-1 now to Tim Williams. Well, looking at the stats, Tim Williams really did a lot of damage in the first 4 games for the Force, but nothing was doing it for him and the whole team for that matter in the first game, as we have a pickoff throw to first, and Ortega actually kind of did a little somersault over the base runner, Esser, over there. But he's okay. Ortega arriving for the start of the second game. Of course, Ortega played for Lewis and Clark, as this one is fouled back at the screen here, and won that Division III, or actually not Division III, NAIA World Series there with Lewis and Clark. Here's the pitch from Patton. Patton taking a long time and nodding his head up and down about 3 times before finally firing home a breaking ball that misses. His breaking ball is very slow, and it's coming inside for the most part. And I wonder if some of the hitters might be able to take advantage of it and just kind of crack it down the left field line. Here's the full count pitch. Runner goes, fastball in the dirt, and that is ball 4. So a good start here for the San Diego Force, as they have 2 runners on board in the top of the first inning and 1 out. But we mentioned it in the first inning in the last game, they actually had 2 runners on base, and they both got to second and third with 1 out before there were 2 strikeouts in a row recorded by Koval. Then, of course, Koval went on to strike out 3 more after that, so he had 5 in a row. Actually, he had 4 in a row. This one swung and fouled out of play behind the backstop, and it's 0-1 to Cole Johnson. Cole Johnson, the cleanup hitter in both games, wearing number 20, digging in. Left-handed hitter against the right-handed pitcher, Sean Patton. Sean Patton's hometown is Diamond Bar, went to Diamond Bar High School. Comes set in the stretch, checks the runner at second, and now fires home. Breaking ball swung and driven into left field and in the gap, and rounding third, and now coming home to score is Mitchell Esser, and the San Diego Force have taken a lead on an RBI single by Cole Johnson. So, in this 1 inning, you'd say that the Force have had more hits in this 1 inning than they had in the entire first game. And they take a 1-0 lead here. Still just the top of the first inning, though. So obviously the Pirates still have plenty of chances to get back into this. And they've been down before. I mean, they trailed in the very first game of the season 3-0 in the top of the first inning. We're at the end of the first. But they came back and ended up winning that one 13-4. This one swung on and fouled. Will it be playable for Christian Kelly? No, it's not. It's out of play, as Kelly hustled very hard towards the backstop, and it's 0-1. Josh Davis, the catcher, up at the plate for the San Diego Force. Well, the Force obviously must love the start to this game, because they couldn't get anything in that first game. We mentioned this is a very, very outstanding program. They've won their league 5 of the last 6 years. Went to the Summer Collegiate World Series last year and finished 11th. As this one misses high and away, and it's 1-1. So this obviously was the first huge challenge for the Pirates, and so far in the first game they passed with flying colors. The question is, will they be able to do the same? Will they be able to reciprocate here in this game 2? Here's the pitch from Patton, and that one misses outside for a ball. Sean Patton's birthday is actually coming up. His 19th birthday will be June 16th, and that is the day that the Pirates will play the Legends here at 5 o'clock on a Monday. Let's see if he celebrates his birthday in style that day and maybe plays that day as he steps off the mound here. And Greg Espinosa will give the home plate umpire a bunch of more balls. Started to talk about how he was from Diamond Bar High School, was Patton, as he fires this one in there for a strike. He put up really good numbers his senior year there as both a pitcher and as a hitter. As a hitter, he hit .337. As a pitcher, he had a 2.07 ERA, was 7-4, and had 3 complete games. So that shows longevity for the 6'4" right-handed pitcher. He's not exactly a 6'4" pitcher that you'd expect in terms of he's not really throwing that many heaters and fastballs. He's really throwing a lot of off-speed pitches and a lot of slow off-speed. So if you looked at him, you wouldn't necessarily think that was the type of pitcher he is. He checks the runner at second, fires home, and this one is swung on and driven to deep right field, and going back on it is Cherry, and that ball is foul. Wow, that would have been a home run if that was fair. And it was foul. That's got to be really tough if you're Josh Davis. That was hit very hard, as there's a student actually on the opposite side of the field that now throws it back into Cherry. Wow. That was pretty much that was the hardest ball I think I've seen struck this summer season so far. I mean, we've seen fly balls to the wall, but that was just an absolute line drive down that line. And foul, though. So just a long strike. Just a long strike for Sean Patton. See if he can come back and get his man. No, he can't. He throws a fastball high and away for ball 4. So the bases are now juiced here for the San Diego Force, as the shortstop calls a little mound. That's Escobar. Calls a little mound. Calls a little conference on the mound with his pitcher. And now comes the catcher Christian Kelly along with the manager Charlie Reynoso, as we're going to have a little conference here in the first inning. Wow. I don't think you could have had a more different start for this game, too. After game 1 was literally all Pirates, especially pitching-wise. I mean, only 1 hit allowed, 12 strikeouts. And then in this game, here in this top of the first, we started right around 1:45. It's 2:05 now, so it's been 20 minutes already. Still only 1 out recorded, and the bases are loaded. San Diego Force are leading 1-0, and we will have a pitching change. Jack Johnson is coming in for the Pirates. Jack Johnson, the southpaw, will take over. We'll step away for a few moments while he warms up and come right back on InlandValleyBaseball.com. We'll come back for a few moments right here just to kind of update you. Jack Johnson, as you could imagine, was not really ready at all to come in and pitch here. He's kind of just warming up, loosening his arm here. It's not even taking warm-up pitches yet. So we might wait a little bit longer before we resume play again here in the top of the first inning. And if you're just joining us now here at 2:07, this first inning started pretty much the exact opposite of the way game 1 went. In fact, in this inning, we've had more hits than the entire first game. Well, that's kind of easy to do because the entire first game, it was a 1-hitter. And in this inning, there's only 2 hits, and it's still 1-0. So if Jack Johnson can get out of this jam here that he's inheriting, the bases loaded, it's still a 1-0 game. With that said, it's a tough situation. There's still only 1 out, bases juiced. This is a guy who wasn't really, as we mentioned, seriously, he's finally just taking warm-up pitches right now. But if anybody can do it, you have to think it's Jack Johnson. He is a very solid southpaw, and everybody on this Pirate roster, when you look at the pitchers, I mean, they are very solid and very good. But Jack Johnson especially, as I don't know if you can hear it or not, but there is a plane flying overhead, which is very, very loud here at Cal Poly Pomona. Well, anyways, Jack Johnson has been nothing short of sensational in his 6 1/3 innings pitched so far this season. In those 6 1/3 innings pitched, he's 1-0, only 2 hits allowed, 10 strikeouts to 1 walk. Very, very good ratio, and that's to be expected when you put out a guy who pitches in the Big West for the UC Riverside. Of course, speaking of the Big West, a rival of UC Riverside is UC Irvine, who leads 1-0 in the Super Regional after a win last night. Coach Gillespie has another really scrappy team, and they're looking to potentially make the World Series once again under him. Just 1 win away. Jack Johnson continues to loosen up here. Of course, Jack Johnson, we gave you his full stats, but probably his most memorable outing was the 3 innings he pitched against the East LA Dodgers, and that 3 innings, he struck out 7. So that was pretty good. Struck out the side twice and then had 1 strikeout in the other inning, as George Ortega, the first baseman, is kind of going over towards the mound and talking to Jack Johnson. Johnson telling Kelly a few more pitches that he wants to work on before he starts here, as it's still the top of the first inning here in Game 2 of the doubleheader. Bases are loaded. The Forts are leading 1-0 after not scoring anything in the first game. In fact, in the first game, they really couldn't do anything in general. I mean, with 1 hit, it's hard to score a run. Pirates 6-0 after the win today. Hoping to kick the extra point, I guess you could say in football terms. They got 6, and they want 7 here in Game 2 of the doubleheader. As it looks like we're finally ready to start here, as Christian Kelly will step out onto the infield grass and tell the infielders, let's turn 2 here. So, speaking of turning 2, the corner infielders are in on the grass, and the middle infielders will be playing in double play depth. Of course, the middle infielder is trying to turn 2 at second and then first. And the corner infielder is trying to come home and then get Kelly to throw over to first base. Well, we're ready to restart here in the top of the first inning, as the first pitch misses outside for ball 1 to John Montgomery, the designated hitter. Very, very big left-handed hitter going against the left-handed pitcher. Here, Johnson comes set, fires. This one's in there for strike 1, and it's 1-1. Well, Jack Johnson's favorite team is the Dodgers. And as a left-handed pitcher, when you hear his favorite team is the Dodgers, I'm pretty sure you could guess who his 2 favorite players of all time are. Here comes the 1-1 offering, and it's a breaking ball in the dirt. Good job by Kelly to block that ball. As we mentioned, the bases are loaded with Force players. On third base is Tim Williams, who walked. On second base is Cole Johnson, who had the RBI knock. And on first is Josh Davis, who also walked. This pitch is swung on and fouled off the ankle. And the designated hitter, Jim Montgomery, looks pretty shaken up by that as he tries to walk it off. He actually has a supporter on his right ankle, but it looks like it might have hit him just above it because he's holding the area right above that ankle supporter. So many of the guys do that now, at least in the professional baseball. You'll see guys with that all the time. In fact, one of the more interesting ones who does that is D. Gordon. You see him wearing an ankle protector, and his game is all predicated on speed. So you always think, man, how fast is this guy? I mean, he's using an ankle brace, and that doesn't hamper his speed at all. But anyways, it's 2-2. Bases loaded. Johnson in relief. Here's the pitch. This one swung on, driven to right field, tailing down the foul line, and it is fair. It's called fair. Bryce Cherry tried to make a diving grab. There's a delayed call by the umpire, and 3 runs will score. It's 4-0 Force. So, wow, that's just very surprising to see the change in the 2 games. Pirates fall in a 4-0 hole in the top of the first, still 1 out. And you guess you can close the book on Sean Patton now. Patton, 1/3 of an inning and 4 runs, as those 3 were all inherited by Johnson. And Johnson gives up that 3 RBI double into right field. It was interesting. You can't really see the foul line down there in right field. It's kind of worn away, so you couldn't really decipher or tell how close that was to being a hit. But I thought it was going to be foul, and it must have been very close because, as we mentioned, the home plate umpire took some extra time to decide whether or not it was fair or foul. Well, still only one out. 4-0 the score. As this one is swung on, a high fly ball to left field. Matthew Reynoso running towards the right at the foul line, and makes the catch. And it's the second out here in the top of the first inning. The Pirates have fallen behind before. In Game 1 this season, they were behind 3-0 in the first inning. This is 4-0 deficit. They came back very strong in that game. Ended up winning 13-4. Let's see if they have the same kind of fight in them here for Game 2 today. Jack Johnson fires. Slider in the dirt. Stopped by Kelly, and it's 1-0. We mentioned the pitcher's positioning, and it seems like lots of pitchers, if you're a right-handed pitcher, for the most part, you'll stay on the left side of the rubber. Well, Johnson's a left-handed pitcher, and he stands on the left side of the rubber. Here's the pitch. Swung on and missed. Not sure we ever mentioned, I know we said his favorite team was the Dodgers, and then we said, I bet you could guess who his two favorite players are. I'm not sure I ever named them, but his two favorite players are Sandy Koufax and Clayton Kershaw. Here's the pitch, as this one misses outside for a ball. It was better that way, because now I had you guessing, and you had to come up with the idea on your own. But this is very interesting for the Pirates to see how they respond against a very talented team like the San Diego Force, as this one misses low for a ball from Johnson. And it's a really tough situation for Johnson, actually, as well. As we mentioned, just him warming up, he was literally not ready to go at all. He had to just take warm-up, practice throws in front of the mound before he took his warm-up pitches, as this one is a skyscraper over towards the first baseman, George Ortega, who makes the catch about 3 feet away from first base. And the top of the first inning has finally come to an end. Started a long time ago. It started about 32 minutes ago. And the Force now have a 4-0 lead in the top of the first inning. We'll head to the bottom of the first. You're listening on InlandValleyBaseball.com. Dave Sobera on the play-by-play. So glad you could join us for both games of this doubleheader on InlandValleyBaseball.com. We'll give you the starting lineup for the Pirates after that very long top of the first. Here is the batting order. Leading off in left field is Matthew Reynoso. Batting second, Nolan Henley in center. Batting third, Fernando Escobar at short. The cleanup hitter is the catcher, Christian Kelly. Channing Varela is batting fifth. Greg Espinosa, sixth. George Ortega, seventh. Anthony Virgin, eighth. Bryce Cherry, ninth. And the extra hitter is Alec Morabito, as the first pitch misses low for ball one to Reynoso. Starting pitcher is from Wichita State, and his name is TJ Looney, wearing number 99, as this one's called a strike and is 1-1 to Reynoso. Don't see 99 too often. The only one off the top of my head I could think of is Manny Ramirez with the Dodgers. Here's the pitch. This one's swung on and chopped to the left side. Catching it on the one hop is the third baseman, and firing a dart over to first base for the out is Rudolph. So one away here in the bottom of the first. Pirates trailing 4-0 after Sean Patton really struggled. Went 1/3 of an inning and gave up 4 runs. Well, 4 runs were charged to him. He had given up the first run and then loaded the bases. And then there was a bases clearing double off Jack Johnson. And the runs, of course, all charged to Patton. Here is Nolan Henley. He takes strike one, and it's 0-1. This pitch misses high, and it's 1-1 to Nolan Henley. Henley from the University of Laverne. He has a Leopard teammate on this team. That, of course, is Brett Early. As this pitch kind of freezes him, kind of buckled his knees, and it's 1-2. 5'11", 175, right-handed hitter. On deck is Fernando Escobar. Here's the pitch. This one's swung on. It's a fly ball down the first base line. The second baseman is calling the first baseman off, and Roaming will make the grab. So Roaming, doing what most middle infielders do in that situation, calling off the corner infielder because they have the better angle on the ball. So 2 down here, bottom of the first inning. 4-0, Force on top. Fernando Escobar at the plate, 5'10", 165, left-handed hitter, going against the right-handed hurler for the Force. Lay kicking, here's the pitch. Fastball swung on, first pitch, chopping it to the right side. Two-hopper over to the second baseman roaming, and he makes the play. So the Pirates are retired in order here in the bottom of the first inning. At the end of 1 inning, it remains 4-0, Force. You're listening on InlandValleyBaseball.com. To the top of 2 we go, 4-0 the score. San Diego Force on top of the Inland Valley Pirates here from Cal Poly Pomona. Brian Landinger up for his first at-bat, the number 9 hitter in the lineup. In there for strike 1 from Johnson. Of course, Johnson coming in the first inning in relief of Sean Patton. Here's the pitch, swung on and missed, and it's 0-2. Well, that's kind of the pitches that we're accustomed to seeing Johnson throw. Pitches that, off-speed pitches that have the potential to make the hitter look silly. Here's the 0-2 offering. Oh, Jack Johnson definitely wanted that, but it's just outside, and it's 1-2. We mentioned Jack Johnson in the previous inning. His stats, as this one swung on and missed, and that will be a strikeout here in the second inning. So first out in the second inning, and that is the 11th strikeout of the season for Johnson. 11 strikeouts, and this is his 8th inning of work. So more than 1 strikeout per inning for Jack Johnson. Here's the pitch. This one misses low and away for ball 1 to Andrew Mellon, the extra hitter. Both teams sending up extra hitters in this game. That's something the Pirates did in every single game except for the last game, as this one misses low for a ball. Of course, in non-conference games, you can have an extra hitter, but in conference games, you're not allowed to do it. The point of having an extra hitter is just that. Get a 10th man in there in the lineup to get some hacks, get some playing time. As this one is swung, fly ball down the right field line. Bryce Cherry has it and makes the grab for the out. So a lot of guys going down that right field line here for the San Diego Force in this game 2. One of them hit a foul ball home run. That one was a fly out to right field. And then, of course, the 3 RBI double was also to right field on a play that Bryce Cherry tried to dive for. Couldn't make the grab. Very close down that foul line to being foul. Here's the top of the lineup for the Force. Breaking ball. Not a strike. Interesting. It looked pretty good from where I was sitting, but I guess it was outside. I am not quite sure, and it's 1-0. Mitchell Esser is the leadoff hitter for the Force. Swings at this one and fouls it back, and it's 1-1 for Esser. Esser singled and scored back in the first inning. Led off what was a very long top of the first for the Force, and a very good one for them after only having 1 hit in the first game. Here's the pitch from Johnson. This one misses outside for ball 2, and it's 2-1. Jack Johnson, another one of these players, we talk about it a lot, but very talented, not just on the field, but also in the classroom. As this one misses outside, and it's 3-1. A hitter's pitch to come here for Esser. But he was a scholar athlete in high school at JW North High School in Riverside. And you can just tell he's a scholar by looking at his major. His major is bioengineering. Here's the pitch out of the windup, swung on and foul back. So a full count to come. 6 pitches of the at-bat here to Esser from Johnson. Johnson has the distinction of being the first member of his family to make it to college. Here's the 3-2 pitch. Payoff pitch, swung on and fouled out of play by Mitchell Esser. So Mitchell Esser, wearing the number 7, will see a 7th pitch in this at-bat. If he could get one more 7, he would hit the jackpot. Here's the pitch. This one misses low, And that's ball 4. I paused for a second because it looked like it did miss low, and he drew the walk. But then he delayed a little bit down the first base line to check and see if the home plate umpire was going to ring him up. The home plate umpire did not. So that is only the second walk issued by Jack Johnson in his 8+ innings pitched. Here comes Kobe Roaming, second baseman, 0 for 1. Flew out to left field. Out there in left is Matthew Reynoso, as this one's called a strike on the outside corner, 0-1. Top of the second inning, 4-0 to score, Force on top. This one misses low for a ball. Well, the Pirates are the type of team that you know that even though they gave up a 4 spot in that first inning, they have the pitching to be able to kind of minimize the damage and maybe just be able to hold the Force scoreless the rest of the game, as this one misses for a ball. The question is whether or not they'll be able to produce 4 runs, which they've been very good at doing. Coming into today, they averaged 8 runs a game. Scored 3 in the first game. That was actually the least they've scored all season. But still got the win, and that's all that matters, as this is called a strike. I'll take a 3-0 one-hitter any day, says manager Charlie Reynoso. In fact, I'm sure he would have taken a 1-0 score if he gets the W. 2-strike count here with 2 outs in the top of the second inning for Jack Johnson. Johnson, the southpaw, fires home, swung on and missed, strike 3. So that'll be the second strikeout for Johnson. We'll hit to the bottom of the second. Score remains 4-0 Force. Well, welcome back as we head to the bottom of the second inning. Pirates trailing 4-0 in a bit of a hole. Will they be able to dig themselves out and get back into this game? We'll find out as this game goes on. Still 8 more at-bats, so obviously still a lot of time here in Game 2 of the doubleheader. Of course, the Pirates will travel to San Diego later in the season to take on these Force in another doubleheader. Speaking of San Diego, they also will travel to San Diego to play Team San Diego, who's a member of the SCCBL. Here comes Christian Kelly, the cleanup hitter for his first at-bat of the game. First pitch is inside, ball 1. Christian Kelly, the catcher, 6'0", 185-pound right-handed hitter. Takes this one, but it's called a strike on the outside corner, and it's 1-1. Another guy from the Inland Empire area as this one swung on and fouled down the first base line, and it's 1-2. Hometown is Chino. Went to Don Lugo High School. There's a number of Pirates who went to Don Lugo. Kelly was the MVP of his league his senior year over at Don Lugo. He hit .434. This one swung on and driven down the right field line, and it's fair. And Kelly will have a single. It was interesting because I was looking at the home plate umpire. We're having lots of close calls in this game so far in the early going, but he didn't really signal anything. And the umpire in between first and second motioned fair as the first baseman was motioning foul, and it landed fair, of course. So that is the first hit and the first base runner here for the Pirates in the second inning of Game 2, as we've got Channing Varela coming up for his first at-bat of the day. Varela not playing in the first game. Here's the pitch. This one misses high, and that was a major heater. That looked like it had a lot of speed behind it, but out of the zone, and it's 1-0. Channing Varela, 5'9", 170 pounds. Here's the pitch. Swings at this one, and this one is fouled out of play behind home plate, and it's 1-1. Just heard a loud thud, so that foul ball must have made it to a car. We mentioned there is a parking lot as this one swung on, line drive into right field, and the catch is made out there by Williams. So that'll be the first out here in the second inning on the fly out to right field. We mentioned that parking lot is pretty much adjacent to the field. Actually, it's on really both sides. There's a parking lot on the third base line as well as the first base line and behind home plate. And those are designated for students. Of course, the dorms are right next to the field as well. There might be one very unhappy student as this ball gets by the catcher, and Christian Kelly will head 90 feet into second base, and he is now in scoring position on the passed ball. Greg Espinosa, the designated hitter, comes to the plate. 5'10", 165. Headed to Houston Baptist next season. Part of that Orange Coast College state championship team. A little, excuse me, hack there. I don't know if it was a hit and run. No, you don't do a hit and run with the man on second, obviously. So I guess he was just fooled a little bit by the pitch. Kind of checked his swing and just happened to make contact with it. 1-1 the count to Espinosa, or Espy. His nickname is Espy. Here's the pitch. This one misses inside for ball 2, and it's 2-1. Of course, Greg Espinosa's brother Grady was on the Pirates last season. Both of them were on the Pirates last season. His brother played for San Francisco State. We've got 4 Gators on the team this season. As the third baseman is on the infield grass, this one misses low, and it's 3-1. Hitter's pitch to come. Espinosa steps out of the bat and gets ready. Steps back in. On deck is George Ortega. Anthony Virgin in the hole for the Pirates. Swings at this one, and it's foul. And once again, it sounds like it might have hit a car, as we heard another loud thud. And it's a full count. Espinosa is doing some damage with the bat, but not the type of damage that you want. If you're Espinosa, you want to do damage in the field of play, not in foul territory by hitting a bunch of cars. This one misses in the dirt, 59-footer, and Espinosa draws the walk. So the Pirates maybe getting a little something going here in the second inning with 1 out and 2 runners on. Ortega comes up for his first at-bat of the day. George did not play in the first game of the doubleheader. 5'10", 190, right-handed hitter. Mentioned how he won that NAIA World Series at Lewis and Clark last week. Swings at the first pitch he sees, and it's a line drive foul down the right field line. So just a little bit behind it was Ortega, but struck very, very well and hard down that right field line. Ortega is a major in criminal justice at Lewis and Clark. Here's the pitch. This one's in there, and it's 0-2. Ortega will be a senior next season. Previously, before playing at Lewis and Clark, he was at Rio Hondo, where he actually played with a teammate from last season's Pirates, Bryce Brooks, as this one swung on and foul tipped, and it's 0-2 still. We'll do it again. Of course, Bryce Brooks is now a member of the Bucks this season. One of 2 players to play on the Pirates last year, he and Micah Bayer, who are now on the Bucks this season. The Bucks and the Pirates will travel to Las Vegas tomorrow. We're being told that the doubleheader is no more. It's just going to be 1 game. Each team will play Team Vegas for 1 game, and they will not play each other in Vegas. Here's the pitch. This one swung on and fouled straight back at me. So another foul ball for Ortega. Already seen 4 pitches. Still an 0-2 count. Virgin is the on-deck batter. Here's the pitch. The runner goes, and this one hits him in the left shoulder. Very hard fastball. And wow, that is not what you want to do if you're the pitcher, Looney, because you had an 0-2 count, and you just hit him. I mean, you never really want to hit a batter, but especially not in that situation, an 0-2 count. At least if it's at least if you do it on, like, say, a full count or a 3-ball pitch, it's like, well, I was going to walk him anyways, but certainly never ever want to do that on an 0-2. As Virgin comes to the plate, Anthony Virgin. Bases loaded. Pirates down 4-0 here in the bottom of the second inning. Big moment right here already as the first pitch misses low for ball 1. Anthony Virgin, the only Pirate who started Game 1. And if you do recall, in Game 1, he scored the first run in the 3rd inning. As this one bounces in the dirt, And Christian Kelly is coming, and that was not a good decision. It didn't get away from the catcher very far. Even though the catcher couldn't field it cleanly, it bounced right back into his glove, and Kelly was dead to rights and gets tagged out about 3 or 4 feet away from scoring at home plate. So that's a tough way to get your second out here in the inning, as Kelly is caught stealing here in the bottom of the second. The other two runners did advance 90 feet as this one swung on and driven through the left side for a base hit. In comes one run, that's Espinosa, but Ortega will be held up. And now caught in between first and second is Virgin. So Virgin is in a rundown and trying to come home and score is Ortega, and he won't be able to. And 2 base running errors, uncharacteristic base running errors here for the Pirates in the second inning. Just ended what could have been a rally right there. You have the one runner get out at the plate. Now you have another one caught in between first and second. So basically just running yourself out of an inning right there. I mean, they should have had probably 2 on that hit. And then obviously Ortega is not the most fleet of foot. He's a catcher or first baseman by trade. And, you know, he was a catcher last season and first baseman this season. And that's just tough. I mean, to only get 1 run right there when you had the bases loaded, 1 out, it's really tough for the Pirates as they trail 4-1. To the top of 3 we go. Pirates and Force, 4-1 the score. Force on top. Pirates running themselves out of an inning in that last half inning, as this one misses low for ball 1 to Tim Williams. Still on the mound is Jack Johnson. That inning could have produced a lot more than 1 run, of course. Christian Kelly was caught out at the plate, as this one is in there for a strike. There's a ball that got away from the catcher, but it pretty much bounced right back to him. And so Kelly was tagged out. And then on an RBI single by Virgin, Virgin overran first base and was caught in between first and second and tagged out. So 2 kind of unforced errors there for the Pirates. And they only score 1 run as they trail by 3 now here in the top of the third. This one swung on, line drive to the right side, and the catch is made over there by Varela. Varela going down to his knees and making the backhanded grab. Here comes Cole Johnson. Johnson with an RBI single and a run scored back in the first inning. He's got a lot of dirt all over him, all over his back actually. His upper back, above the 2 and the O on his jersey. That's kind of an unusual place actually to be so dirty, as the first pitch is in there for strike 1 from Jack Johnson. Jack Johnson from UC Riverside deals. Ooh, nice pitch, but must have been a bit low, and is 1-1. Late kick, and here's the pitch. This one gets away for a ball. Of course, the SCCBL season starts on Tuesday. Still a non-conference game, kind of a tune-up of sorts, but this is a big tune-up, if you want to call it a tune-up, because this is a team that's very good, are the Force. But to go back to the SCCBL season starting on Tuesday, both the Pirates and Bucks will start on Tuesday. The Pirates travel to Palm Springs, where they take on the Power on Tuesday and Wednesday at 7, while the Bucks, this one swung on and lifted into left field, shallow left field, and drops down for a base hit. So the Force have a runner on board here in the third inning on a single by Cole Johnson, who's now 2 for 2 in the game. Here comes Josh Davis, who walked and scored back in the first inning. This will be his first at-bat, official at-bat if he gets a hit or gets out. To finish the SCCBL schedule, the Bucks will take on the High Desert Heat here at Cal Poly Pomona at 5 o'clock on Tuesday and Wednesday of next week. Both games will be broadcast on InlandValleyBaseball.com, as this one misses low, and it's 1-0. Of course, the Pirates games will be broadcast by the Power on their website, PalmSpringsPowerBaseball.com. We'll try to give you live listen-ins, as this one is swung on to the right side. Line drive over to Varela. Varela turns it to second and over to first for the 4-6-3 double play by the Pirates, and that's something they've been able to do a lot all season long. Great job by Varela, really showing some quickness, not just with his footwork, but also with his throw over to the shortstop Escobar, who finished the job by turning it over to first base. And so that'll do it for the inning. And at the end of 2.5, it remains 4-1. You're listening on InlandValleyBaseball.com. To the bottom of 3 we go. 4-1 the score. Force on top of the Pirates, as we are in Game 2 of the doubleheader. In Game 1, the Pirates prevailed 3-0. First pitch swung on and fouled over towards the third base dugout by Bryce Cherry. Gave a little bit of a wake-up call to all the guys in the dugout for the Force. Slightly behind that one was Cherry. Cherry once again fouling it down the left field line. Bryce Cherry, 6'1", 205 from San Francisco State. 4 San Francisco State Gators on the team. Another one is Escobar, who's the shortstop in this game, as this one's bouncing in the dirt for a ball to Cherry. The other 2 are pitchers that we may very well see before this game's over. Corey Davis and Ryan Romero. Swung on and missed. Wasn't quite sure if he foul-tipped it, but it won't really matter because the catcher caught it anyways, and that is the first out here in the third inning. We're at the number 10 spot, Alec Morabito, as we mentioned at the top of the broadcast. Pirates will use an extra hitter in this game. Only one game where they didn't use 10. That was the first game of this doubleheader. Here's the pitch from Looney. This one misses low, and it's 1-0. Looney, of course, from Wichita State. So it's interesting to see how the Pirates handle a Division I pitcher. This one swung on, chopped over to the left side. Two-hopper over to the shortstop Lowell. Lowell fires, but it's in the dirt, and the first baseman Johnson can't make the pick. So Morabito reaches on an error by the shortstop, as Reynoso now steps up to the plate. So we've turned the lineup over to the top. And Matthew Reynoso. Reynoso is 0 for 1 here in this game. Looney working out of the stretch, fires, fastball high, and it's 1-0. That's the second or third time that he's done that, where he's just absolutely thrown a laser, but it's been well out of the zone, very high. Almost threw it like he was frustrated, as this one is also very high, but Reynoso went, and it's 1-1. Matthew Reynoso, playing for Citrus College, hit .248 this past season in 35 games with them. Be headed to Cal Poly Pomona, as this one misses high and away, and it's 2-1. Pretty much all 3 pitches have been in that same location. Fastball is high and away, and very high at that. On deck is Nolan Henley. This one swung on and lifted to right field. Taking one step back, and now coming in is the outfielder Williams, who makes the catch. So 2 down here in the bottom of the third inning. Pirates trailing by 3, which is the number of the batter here, Nolan Henley. 4-1 the score to be exact. Henley wearing his green helmet from University of Laverne. 40 games, .293 batting average this past season as a junior for them. This one's in at the knees, called to strike, and it's 0-1. Among other things, he says he really enjoys playing pool. Has a lot of fun playing pool, and his nickname is Butters. As this one missed, actually, well, definitely missed inside, but it actually hit Henley, so there are now 2 runners on board for the Pirates. It's hard to see. My view is a little bit obstructed by the umpire, by the way that Henley kind of jumped out of it. But he was, in fact, nicked on the left shoulder. And here comes Fernando Escobar. Here's the first pitch to him. Fastball swung on and missed. The Pirates with 2 men on board here in the third inning. And Escobar up at the dish, hoping to chip away at that lead. If you can just get 1 here, 1 there, eventually you start catching up, as this one misses low. And it's 1-1 to number 1. Fernando Escobar was very good at Fullerton College before going to San Francisco State, where his college, was the state runner-up at the JC level, as this is a 58-footer in the dirt. Nice stop by the catcher, Davis, to ensure that neither runner could advance 90 feet. Of course, if both of them could have advanced, there would have been 2 men in scoring position as opposed to 1. And it's 2-1 here. Here's the 2-1 offering to Escobar. It's another chopper over towards the right side this time, though. And on the second hop, the second baseman roaming fields it cleanly and fires to first. And that'll do it here for the third inning. And at the end of 3 complete, it remains 4-1. Pirates are trailing. And welcome back as we get ready for the top of the fourth. And the San Diego Force retaining that 4-1 lead as Josh Montgomery, the man who ripped the double to right field and scored 3 runs in his first at-bat, comes to the plate. Jack Johnson still on the bump for the Pirates, the left-handed pitcher. Here's the pitch. First one is in there for strike 1, and it's 0-1. Very, very warm day here at Pomona, as this one is a checked swing, and he made contact with it, and he was really hoping that he didn't make contact with it because he thought it was a ball. I thought it was pretty close, but it's 0-2 now here for Jack Johnson. Here's the pitch. This one misses inside, and it's 1-2. There are a lot of people here for the first game, and it's kind of hot, and it's clearing out a little bit as some people are kind of huddled up in underneath tents and the umbrellas. It is an umbrella type of day here. Not because it's raining, obviously, but because it's that hot here at Cal Poly Pomona. Here's the pitch. This one swung on and line drive to right field, and that will fall for a base hit. So Montgomery is 2 for 2 here in this game. Of course, our Twitter is at @IVBaseball. If you want to follow us and kind of get some of the updates and live score updates and all that type of stuff, information about the schedule, whatever, follow us at @IVBaseball, as this one actually is going to throw a pickoff throw over to first, not in time. I want to thank everybody for all the views we've gotten on our website. 4 consecutive days we had more than 1,000 views. Squaring around and now bringing it back is the hitter, but it's called a strike anyways, to Elliot Lowell, who is 0 for 1. In fact, it's so many hits and so many clicks that our archived broadcast from the last game, Pirates and Bucks, was taken off YouTube because of copyright rules, as this one is a bunt down the third base line, and that is sacrificed to perfection. And a nice job by Ortega to dig that one because it went off one hop. But good job by Ortega, as that'll be the first out here in the 4th inning. And to finish that story, obviously what we had to do is, and the reason we got the copyright is because we play the music in between innings. And so the recording labels actually found them because we had so many hits, as this one is swung on and fouled back on our website, and it's 0-1 to Gino Rudolph, who is 0 for 1 on the day. So now to combat that, the archive versions will not have any of the music in between innings. It'll just play the whole thing through, which is probably a better thing for you, the listener, anyways, as this one is swung on and missed, and it's 0-2. It was in the dirt, and so the runner, Montgomery, advances 90 feet and into third base on that pitch. So the Force now looking to extend the lead to back to 4. Of course, they were ahead 4-0 after 1. Pirates came back with 1 in the second. And that's where we stand right here. Johnson checks the run over to third. Nobody holding him on. Here's the pitch. This one missed outside, and it's 2-2 for Johnson. Somebody on the Pirates dugout really liked the pitch and said, oh, yeah. But it was not liked by the home plate umpire, and that's the only opinion that matters. This one misses well inside, and trying to throw a snap throw down to third was Kelly. Kelly making a great stop, as that one almost could have hit the hitter. and he kind of slid to his left, basically made like a sliding grab, and then fired immediately to third. Here comes the full count pitch from Jack Johnson. This one misses inside, and it's, oh, that was actually the 2-2, and now it's a full count for Johnson. Well, both corner infielders are on the infield grass, and actually both middle infielders are doing that as well, playing for the play at home. This one is hit straight at Escobar, the shortstop. He comes home, and the tag is applied, so they record the out at home. Good job by the Pirates to stop that run for scoring, and that's the second out here in the inning. So 6-2 on that scoring as the shortstop threw it home to the catcher. Here comes Brandon Landiger, the left fielder, 0 for 1 with the strikeout back in the second inning. Here's the pitch, and this one is lifted into center field, tailing to the left as he is a left-handed hitter. But the center fielder tracks it down. That, of course, is Nolan Henley for the final out of the inning. And at the end of 3.5, it remains 4-1 Force. You're listening on InlandValleyBaseball.com. It's the bottom of the fourth, 4-1 the score. Pirates trailing the Force as Christian Kelly, the cleanup hitter, is at bat. Swings at the first pitch, and it's a line drive over the glove of the third baseman into left field for a base knock. So Kelly taking advantage of the first pitch he sees as the Pirates have their leadoff man on board here in the fourth inning. Here comes Channing Varela, 0 for 1 in the game. Flew out to right field as Charlie Reynoso will now call time and meet his hitter Varela halfway in between third base and home. I wonder if they would potentially think about sacrifice bunting here. You are trailing by 3, though, but every run counts, and you need to continue to chip away at the lead as Reynoso will now signal his signs over to Christian Kelly at first. Of course, Kelly is actually 2 for 2 in this game, and if you remember, he's caught in between third and home on a ball that this one is swung on and fouled back at the screen. And he's caught out in between third and home on a ball that got away from the catcher, but not far enough away from him to where you should be trying to advance from third to home. It stayed pretty much in the dirt area of the batter's box. Didn't make it the backstop or anything as this one is swung on. And it's 0-2 to Channing Varela. Varela, hometown Chino, went to Chino High School. If you heard in the interview in between games with Cody Erod, a lot of these guys have known each other for a long time and they've played together for a long time, as this one misses low and is 1-2. The reason I'm mentioning that now is because they played together in the Connie Mack level as Chino Red. They were very successful there as this one is swung on and fouled out of play down the first base line. We'll do it again. Another 1-2 offering to come here to Varela. Greg Espinosa is on deck with George Ortega in the hole. You remember, this was the part of the lineup that really got it done in the first inning. This one's line drive over to the shortstop, and he makes the catch and tries firing over to first for the double play, but Kelly got back. So a liner to the shortstop, and now Espinosa comes to the plate. But back in that second inning, you look at it, and Kelly had a single. Espinosa walked. Ortega was hit by a pitch, and Anthony Virgin had an RBI single. So this middle lineup getting the job done in the second inning. The only problem was 2 running errors. This one swung on and hacked into right field. Line drive for Espinosa, and there were 2 men on base here for the Pirates in the fourth. Both hits occurring on the first pitch. One to the left side on a line drive, and one to the right side. The one to the left side, of course, was hit by the man on second base right now, Christian Kelly, and the one to the right side just hit by Greg Espinosa as George Ortega steps up to the plate. See if George Ortega can maybe look at that first pitch and do something big with it. As the Pirates are looking to get back into it, this one is grounded to the right side. This might be a tailor-made double play as Ortega doesn't run very fast, and that's exactly what it is. 4-6-3 double play. Ortega looks like he might have even hurt himself running there. as he ran way down the first baseline and into right field. Looked like, I don't know if he was holding his leg or not, but that'll do it for the fourth inning in the 4-6-3 double play. Tough way to end the inning for the Pirates. You're listening on InlandValleyBaseball.com. And welcome back to the top of the fifth inning as it's 4-1. Force on top of the Pirates. A little bit of a breeze coming by for the first time as Jack Johnson remains on the hill for the Pirates. First pitch misses low and away for ball one to Andrew Mellon. Andrew Mellon a fly out to the right fielder Bryce Cherry in his first at-bat. Here's the pitch. Hanging off-speed pitch that doesn't come down, and it's 2-0. Andrew Mellon's another guy who's pretty large in stature for this San Diego Force team. Here's the pitch from Johnson. Inside, strike one, 2-1 the count. Here's the pitch from Johnson. This one is grounded to the right side and through the right side hole. No, making a diving grab and now firing to first. What a play made by Channing Varela. Absolutely ripping away a hit from the San Diego Force, sliding on his knees on the outfield grass about 3 or 4 feet into the outfield and firing to Ortega to complete that out as Jack Johnson gives him a little nod as that's a pretty good job, Varela. Pointed to him and said, good job. As the leadoff hitter comes to the plate, that's Mitchell Esser. He is 1 for 1 with a run scored and a walk. Here's the pitch. This one's in there for strike one, and it's 0-1. Well, he was the one that led it all off in that first inning. Singled to over the shortstop's head. And then scored as this one misses low for a ball, and it's 1-1. And then Tim Williams walked, and Cole Johnson had an RBI single. Josh Davis walked and scored on the 3-run double by Jim Montgomery. This one misses low, and it's 2-1. So that's how they scored their 4 runs in that first inning. Meanwhile, for the Pirates, they only scored the 1 run in the bottom of the second, and that was on a Virgin RBI. This one is struck hard down the first base line, but foul. Virgin was actually on that RBI single, caught in between first and second. Kind of ended the rally, although before that, Christian Kelly was also caught out on the base paths. So the Pirates could have had more runs than that in that second inning. But they only got 1. And they continue to trail 4-1 here in the top of the 5th. That breaking pitch, it misses low. This one swung on and fouled back. Well, the Pirates did increase their record to 6-0 in the first game of the doubleheader. You're going to have to do some work here if they want to get to 7-0. As this one is swung on, it's a towering fly ball behind home plate. Christian Kelly running and trying to make the grab in the third base dugout, but just can't reach it a few inches out of his grab as it falls to the ground. Kelly will walk back to the batter's box, and looked like he was actually shaking his head a little bit. Thought maybe that he could have made the catch. Of course, there are a couple of San Diego Force guys in the way there, kind of warming up their swings as this one swung on by Esser. A fly ball to right field. Cherry makes the catch. And at first he headed straight back and looked like he was going to be camped underneath it. And then at the last second he ran about 10 feet to his right and finally makes the catch and puts that one away. So that'll be the second out here in the 5th inning. So 2 down, top of the 5th, 4-1 the score. Here comes the number 2 hitter, Kobe Roaming. Roaming is 0 for 2, flew out to left field in the first and struck out in the second. The lone person that Sean Patton retired. This one swung on, first pitch lifted to left center field. Matthew Reynoso makes the catch, and that will do it for the 5th inning. And at the end of 4.5 innings of play, it remains 4-1. Pirates are trailing. You're listening on InlandValleyBaseball.com. And welcome back as we head to the bottom of the 5th inning as we have a new pitcher. That is Brad Moreno. First pitch in there for a ball to Virgin. Anthony Virgin with an RBI single in the 2nd inning. Also scored the first run as this one misses low. On deck is Bryce Cherry. In the hole, Morabito. So we're at the 8, 9, 10 spot in the lineup here. This one's swung on and it's lifted foul and out of play behind the backstop. Well, Anthony Version has really been getting the job done so far early in the season for the Pirates. Here comes the pitch, and this one is swung on and lifted to right center field. The center fielder will make the catch and put it away. Out there is Esser for the first out here in the 5th inning as Bryce Cherry comes to the plate. Bryce Cherry, the left-handed hitter from San Francisco State, taking a warm-up hack before he steps into the batter's box. First pitch misses for a ball. It's 1-0. Bryce Cherry, his hometown is Atascadero. He went to Atascadero High School. As this one misses inside, and it's 2-0. Well, that one's called a strike, actually, and Cherry had to basically jump out of the way. He must really be crowding the plate, and yes, he is crowding the plate a lot, is the left-handed hitter. Grounds this one on the right side. The second baseman on his horse makes the catch 3 feet deep in the outfield and fires to first for the putout. So roaming, showing a lot of range, as did Varela in the last half inning. Roaming has really been deep in that right side hole for the better part of this game. And really, he actually kind of plays more towards that. He's kind of playing right in the middle of first and second base, so he's leaving a lot of room open for you to potentially hit it up the middle, which is probably why he's been able to show even better range to his left when it looks like a ball might be hit through the hole on the right side as Alec Morabito comes to the plate. Morabito, blackjack, wearing number 21. Here's the pitch. Checks his swing. Will we have an appeal? I don't think so. I think the home plate umpire is just going to call it a ball, and it's 1-0 to Morabito. Morabito, 6'0", 170, plays for Cal Baptist. Here's the pitch to Morabito. Fastball inside corner, strike one. 1-1 the count. Bottom of the 5th inning, Pirates trailing 4-1 in Game 2 of the doubleheader. They won the first one 3-0. Here's the pitch, and this one is swung and missed, and that is strike 2, 1-2. This is definitely the latest the Pirates have been trailing in a game this season. Here's the pitch. Called strike 3 on the outside corner. And that'll do it for this inning as Morabito heads back to his dugout, and it remains 4-1 at the end of 5. Welcome back. We'll head to the top of the 6th inning. 4-1 the score. Pirates trailing the Force as Kevin Glom steps onto the mound for the first time here today. Kevin Glom, of course, a Pirate last season. This one is swung on, first pitch, fly ball into right field, and the catch is made out there for the first out. So Tim Williams flies out to right field. Kevin Glom, 6'5", 225, right-handed pitcher from Loyola Marymount. Has athletics just running through his bloodline. His father played Division I basketball at Santa Clara. Here comes the pitch. Fastball misses. Oh, it's in there inside for strike 1, and it's 0-1. As well as his father playing basketball at the D1 level, and this one is in there, and it's 0-2. His brother, Michael, played at Loyola Marymount, which is why he decided to go to Loyola Marymount, and his sister played volleyball there as well. Here's the pitch for Glom, 0-2. Called strike 3 on the outside corner. So that'll do it for Cole Johnson, and that's the first time Johnson's been retired today. He had 2 singles, or retired in this game, I should say. We played 2 games today. As Josh Davis comes up to the plate, he is 0 for 1, but scored when he walked back in the first inning. Kevin Glom is from the San Jose area. This fastball swung and lined to the right side over to the first baseman. Making the catch and stepping on the bag is Blake James. So Blake James came in that inning and gets that 3 unassisted putout. We'll head to the bottom of the 6th. The score is 4-1. Pirates are trailing. Well, we'll head to the bottom of the 6th inning, and this is where they'll start being a few replacements for the Pirates. Michael Johnson is up at the plate, replacing Matthew Reynoso. Reynoso finishes 0 for 2 in the game. And on deck, we have Nathan Virgin, as this one's called a strike, and it's 0-1. So Nathan Virgin will be replacing Nolan Henley when he comes in. And then it looks like Kyle Jackson. He's got a helmet and a bat in his hand, as this one's called a strike on the outside, and it's 1-2. That's a typical thing for the Pirates. That's usually when they start making all their changes around the 5th or 6th inning, as this fastball misses, and it's 2-2. So the guys who started get 2 at-bats each, and the guys who are coming in will now finish the things off, as this one misses out high and outside, and it's a full count. Of course, this doubleheader starting at 11 a.m. because the Pirates are playing in Las Vegas tomorrow, as this is a off-speed pitch on the outside corner called strike 3. So down goes Michael Johnson. As Virgin comes to the plate, Nathan Virgin for his first at-bat in this game, 6'0", 180, right-handed hitter, headed to Lindsey Wilson in Kentucky. Here's the pitch. Breaking ball in there, and that is strike 1, 0-1 the count. The reason he garnered that scholarship is because he played so well at Citrus College as he checks his swing and makes contact with it. Foul. At Citrus College, he hit .350 this past season, .446 on base percentage, 43 hits in 36 games. So he had more than 1 hit per game. He was basically on base 1 out of every 2 times, or very close to that, as this one misses outside for a ball. Nathan Virgin, the younger brother to Anthony, who started this game, as this one misses high. Nathan, another one of the many players who hail from Chino. Here's the pitch. This one's called the 3rd strike on the inside corner, and Nathan really didn't like that, as he actually remained in the batter's box, like he just assumed it was going to be called the ball, but it's called a strike, and he heads back to the dugout. So the first 2 guys come in off the bench, both strike out looking here in the 6th inning, as Kyle Jackson is first pitch swinging and fouls it back at the screen. Kyle Jackson here for his first at-bat of the game. Jackson is struggling a little bit so far this summer. Bounces this one. A high chopper over the third baseman's head. No, he gloves it and now fires the first, but not in time. So it'll be an infield base hit for Jackson, who was an SCCBL All-Star last season. As I mentioned, he was struggling a little bit at the beginning of the season. We're still just in the very early going of the season, but he came in 1 for 9 today, and now he gets a single here in this game. Here's Christian Kelly. Christian Kelly will remain in the game in the cleanup spot with good reason. He's 2 for 2. Hit .296 with the Pirates last season, and another All-Star for the Pirates last season. Swings at the first pitch and fouls it out of play down the first base line. Varela is on deck, so Channing Varela will stay in the game as well. And it looks like we might have a pinch hitter in the hole. Pickoff throw over to first, not in time, by Brad Morona. He came in the 5th inning and is now in his 2nd inning of work here in Game 2 of the doubleheader. He comes set. Fastball just misses low for a ball. 1-1 the count. Christian Kelly, a very disciplined hitter. Knows the strike zone as well as anybody. Makes sense being a catcher, but he really has a great eye at the plate. This one misses low and away. Nice job by the catcher to block that one. Catcher, of course, is Davis for the force. I mean, if that ball gets to the backstop, you have a man on second for sure in the form of Kyle Jackson. Kyle Jackson on the infield single. That was chopped very high. Third baseman making a leaping grab, actually, but couldn't throw him out at first. This one swung on, line drive down the third base line. Going on the pitch was Kyle Jackson, and he's headed into the third. Meanwhile, Christian Kelly is digging in for second, and he's into the second with a stand-up double down that left field line. So the Pirates have runners in scoring position, 2 of them, with Channing Varela up at the plate. Here we go. Is this a 2-out rally for the Pirates in the making? As the first 2 hitters struck out looking in the inning, but then we have a single by Jackson and a double by Christian Kelly, and Channing Varela at the plate. Varela takes strike 1, and it's 0-1. He has flown out to right field and lined out to shortstop. And that line out to shortstop was struck very, very hard. It was just right at the shortstop. See if he can place it somewhere where they aren't. That's the name of the game, of course, as this off-speed pitch is in there. And quickly, number 2 falls behind 0-2. Varela takes a little walk around the batter's box and steps right back in. Big moment right here for the Pirates in the bottom of the 6th. Here's the pitch. Swung on and missed. And it was in the dirt, but the catcher applied the tag on Varela. So that'll do it for the 6th inning. The Pirates had a little bit of a 2-out rally going. They had 2 consecutive hits after 2 outs. But Varela strikes out, so the side is struck out by Morona. And we'll head to the 6th in a 4-1 game. And welcome back to Cal Poly Pomona, Scalino's Field for Game 2 of the doubleheader. We are in the top of the 7th. The Force are ahead of the Pirates 4-1, as it looks like we have had a bunch of changes to our defensive alignment. First pitch is in there for strike 1 from Kevin Glom, the big right-handed pitcher from Loyola Marymount, in for his 2nd inning. At third base now is Andrew Alvarez. This pitch is swung on. 3-chopper over to the second baseman, Varela. Varela retreating a little bit and now makes the play over to the first baseman, James. Blake James, usually a second baseman, but is in at first right now. Came in the last inning. Kyle Jackson is at shortstop. Dylan Lowenstein is in at catcher. So we've had a bunch of changes here for the Pirates, as this pitch is in there for strike 1, 0-1 the count to Elliot Lowell. Lowell had a sacrifice back in the 4th and grounded out in the 1st. Here's the pitch. Swings at this one and lifts it to right center field. Calling for it out there is the right fielder, and he makes the catch for the 2nd out. So 2 down here, top of the 7th inning for Kevin Glom. This one swung on and hit up the middle, but the shortstop stays down on it and makes the play for the final out of the inning. Kyle Jackson showing some good hands there and really showing quickness to get up the middle, because that was pretty much about a foot away from the second base bag. But he makes that play, and it's time to stretch here at Cal Poly Pomona for the 2nd time, as we'll head to the bottom of the 7th, trailing by 3 runs. You're listening on InlandValleyBaseball.com. Welcome back. Here is Jimmy Mancia up at the plate, in for Greg Espinosa, as this one misses outside for ball 1. Jimmy Mancia from College of the Desert. Here's the pitch. This one swung and grounded to the left side. It sounded like he might have shattered his bat, and that'll be a throw out over there by the third baseman, 5-3 on the putout. So Mancia goes down, and here comes Blake James. Blake James came in for George Ortega a couple innings ago, but this is actually his first at-bat. Ortega finished 0 for 1, also was hit by a pitch. So his day is over, as this is a breaking ball in the dirt, and it's 1-0. On deck is Andrew Alvarez. Here's the pitch. Swings at this one. It's a high fly ball foul and out of play down the left field line. Left fielder Danger tracing it all the way to the fence over there. We actually have a few people out there in left field watching the game there, because there's trees out there, so there's shade. It is very hot, as we mentioned. This one's in there for a strike, and it's 0-2. Of course, it's always pretty much hot in Pomona, but so today is really an umbrella type of day or a tent type of day where you really got to be under the shade. Called strike 3 on the outside corner to Blake James. So James heads back to the dugout as Andrew Alvarez comes in for his first at-bat. Alvarez came in for Anthony Virgin at third base a couple innings ago. Alvarez takes ball 1-0 the count to number 19. Alvarez, of course, starting his career at Pepperdine. Here's the pitch. Fastball, missing. Oh, it's in there for a strike, and it's 1-1. Started his career at Pepperdine where he was only a pitcher, and he wanted to be an everyday player and also pitch, as this one is swung on and missed way out in front of that off-speed pitch was Alvarez. So then he transferred to Citrus College, where he won a junior collegiate state, not Citrus College, Orange Coast College, where he won a junior collegiate state championship this past season, and now is headed to Houston Baptist on a scholarship. Houston Baptist, of course, a D1 school in the Southland Conference, where he will be heading this fall. Rona peering in his catcher's signs and fires. This one's swung and driven down the left field line for a base hit, rounding first, and Andrew Alvarez will head into second with an easy stand-up double. As Alvarez, he said something he was working on was pretty much getting his timing down, and today he's done a pretty good job of it. He's had 2 hits down that third base line. This was obviously the first in this one because this was his first at-bat, but he had another hit to left field in the first game of the doubleheader. And the Pirates are hoping for another 2-out rally as Bryce Cherry comes up to the plate. Bryce Cherry 0 for 2, struck out in the third and grounded out to the second baseman in the fifth. Swings at the first pitch and fouls it back over the screen, and it's 0-1 for Cherry. Cherry, of course, one of the 4 Gators from San Francisco State on this team. Left-handed hitter going against the right-handed pitcher. Fastball misses high and away, and it's 1-1 to Cherry. Cherry received a lot of individual accolades his senior year in high school. Morona comes set, checks the runner, fires home. Fastball inside, ball 2. He was an all-state performer his senior year. He was twice all-county. He was 3 times all-league, and his senior year he was also the San Luis Obispo Player of the Year. This one is in there for a strike, and it's 2-2 to Cherry. This past season at San Francisco State as a junior, he hit .225. Here's the pitch. Fastball in the dirt, and it's a full count. So Cherry working the count, going deep into it as Morabito is on deck. Morabito, the number 10 hitter in the lineup. Cherry, the number 9 hitter. Here's the pitch. This breaking ball is in the dirt, 59-footer, ball 4. And there are 2 men on board for the Pirates with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 7th inning. So for the second consecutive inning, the first 2 Pirates go down, and then the Pirates get 2 men on board. Will they take advantage of it this time? That's the question. Because last time they couldn't take advantage of it when Channing Varela was struck out on 4 pitches. Here comes Alec Morabito. Morabito, another guy like Alvarez, who's on second base, who can not only be an everyday player, but also pitch. Here's the pitch. Fastball high and away, and it's 1-0. Well, Charlie Reynoso actually met with Morabito before this at-bat started. Maybe offering some encouragement, or maybe saying the pitcher is looking like he's getting a little bit wild here, and maybe take until the first strike, as it's now 2-0. Of course, now that it's 2-0, though, you might green light Morabito because that's an obvious fastball count, as it's a fastball, but it's low. And Moreno looks like he's trying to aim that ball now. And he's really losing his control all of a sudden after he was cruising for the first couple innings that he pitched. This fastball is right down Broadway. Of course, the take given on 3-0. But now it's 3-1. This is another pitch that you really can take advantage of and sit dead red on fastball if you're a hitter. This one misses low, though, and the bases are loaded. So very disciplined at bat there by Morabito. And he turns it over to the top of the lineup, and Michael Johnson with his second at bat in the game. His previous at bat, if you remember, was a strikeout back in the 6th inning. Michael Johnson, of course, should feel at home in that batter's box. playing here for Cal Poly Pomona. One of 7 Pirates that can do that. Bases loaded, trailing by 3. Big time right here for the Pirates in the bottom of the 7th. First pitch swinging, and it's foul over in towards the third base dugout. Of course, the Force are in the third base dugout and the Pirates in the first base dugout. The clubhouse here at Cal Poly Pomona is adjoined to that first base dugout. Fastball swung on, straight back at the screen, and it's 0-2. So good job by Morena to jump ahead of the hitter, 0-2 here, and a bases-loaded jam after you had just given up a couple of walks. Started to lose control. Here's the pitch. Fastball swung on, line drive to right field, and it'll get down. In comes 1 run. That's Alvarez. Grounding third and coming home to score is Cherry. The ball gets by the third baseman. Now coming home to score is Morabito. He dives head first, but he's thrown out at the plate. And so it's 4-3 Pirates as the outfielder overshot the third baseman, so it rolled over into the fence. The third baseman throws it home to the catcher, and Morabito tried making a crazy slide. He went to the left side of home plate and tried to go head first around the tag and couldn't make it there. But it's 4-3 now. And once again, though, and this is probably the right decision to make if you're the Pirates because the ball was thrown over the head of the third baseman and it got away. But that is now the third time the Pirates have been caught off on the base pass. And if you remember, 2 of them now have been in between third base and home plate. So that's really tough because if you think about that, if you get those 2 runs across, you're winning. But they do get 2 back, and it's 4-3 as we head to the top of the 8th. Well, we head to the top of the 8th as the Pirates are trying to fight back here. They were trailing 3-0, then 4-1, and now it's 4-3 after they got 2 back in the bottom of the 7th inning. First pitch is a ball from the new pitcher, Corey Davis. Corey Davis actually slipped a little bit on the throw as it's 1-0 here for Corey Davis. Corey Davis, of course, one of the 4 San Francisco State Gators on this team. This one swung on and missed, and it's 1-1 to number 1 for the San Diego Force. That, of course, is Brandon Ledanger, who is 0 for 2, struck out and flew out to center field. Corey Davis fires, low, ball. 6'2", 175 is the senior to be from San Francisco State. Of course, if you saw on Twitter, San Francisco State had a little shout-out to us, as this will be a 2-hopper over to the second baseman, Varela, and he fires the first for the first out. And they had a little article about Davis and Ryan Romero, mentioning all 4 Pirates that are on their team and linked to our website. Here's Andrew Mellon, the extra hitter, 0 for 2 on the day, flew out and grounded out. Corey Davis fires. Ball 1. 1-0 the count. Not quite sure where it missed, as Mellon is the number 10 hitter in the lineup. And then the top of the order with Esser. This one is struck down the right field line. Line drive, and that is getting into the corner over there. Mellon heading for second, and it's going to be a stand-up double for the San Diego Force here in the 8th inning. Well, for the Pirates, it was Sean Patton who started things off and only went a third of an inning and allowed all 4 runs. Then Jack Johnson went 4 2/3. Of course, all 4 runs were charged to Patton, but Johnson actually gave up the 3-run double in that inning. But he inherited a very tough situation. Bases loaded, 1 out, and he wasn't even ready at all to come in. In fact, he had to loosen up his arm before he even took warm-up pitches, as Charlie Reynoso is now calling for time and is met by his catcher Dylan Lowenstein at the pitcher's mound for a conference with the pitcher Corey Davis. Corey Davis had a very, very good season for San Francisco State in 25 appearances, 41 innings pitched, 3.51 ERA, 4-2 record, and most importantly, 13 saves. So he's kind of that lights-out closer for them. Another guy who, before that, went to Orange Coast College. There's a few on this team. Here's the pitch, as this one misses low for a ball, and it's 1-0. 1-0 the count, 1 out, top of the 8th inning, 4-3 the score. Pirates trailing. Pirates have not trailed this late in the game, obviously, as for the most part it's been all Pirate domination this season. Corey Davis checks the runner at second, no one holding him on. Fires home, fastball high and away for a ball. 2-0 the count. This has been a really good week of baseball for the Pirates, of course, playing Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Now have a doubleheader Saturday and another game tomorrow on Sunday, as this one is swung on and missed for strike one. 2-1 the count. Of course, there was supposed to be one more game, actually, on Thursday that got rescheduled. That was against the Legends, which was supposed to be another big test. The Pirates will play the Legends later in the season. Here's the pitch. Swung line drive into right field, and that's going to get into the gap. Bryce Cherry going back and now making the throw into the cutoff man, Varela. And actually, Varela lets it go through to Jackson, but a run comes in to score, and it's 5-3. So an RBI single for Esser. Esser with a strong game. 2 for 2, a run scored, an RBI, and a walk. As Kobe Roaming comes to the plate. Kobe Roaming 0 for 3. Flew out to left field twice and also struck out. 5-3 the score. Force on top. Fastball in there at the knees, called strike one, and it's 0-1. Corey Davis has been very good for the Pirates, both last year and his first couple outings this season. Here's the pitch, in there for strike two. Last season in 25 and 2/3 innings pitched for the Pirates, he had 23 strikeouts, so nearly striking out one hitter every inning. Checks the runner at first and now fires home. Fastball outside, ball. 1-2 the count. Kobe Roaming adjusting his batting gloves and now getting back into the box. His team leads 5-3. Davis making a lot of checks over at first before he fires home a breaking ball that hangs high and out of the zone. 2-2 the count. So the Pirates will have to dig deep if they want to win this game and stay undefeated. Only 2 more at-bats to come as they trail by 2 runs. Here's the pitch from Davis. Fastball. Outside. Ball 3. Full count. It's kind of interesting, and I've noticed this. I don't know if this is just where Andrew Alvarez typically plays, but he's really been on the pretty much on the infield grass this whole at-bat. This one swung on and fouled out of play down the first base line. And we'll do it again. Another full count pitch to come here between Roaming and Davis. 7th pitch of the at-bat to come. Very small lead taken off first base as Corey steps off the mound. Buys himself a little bit of time, maybe wants to think a little bit longer about what exactly he wants to throw here. Here's the full count offering. Swung at, hit over to the third baseman, Alvarez. Alvarez fires to Varela. Varela to first, and almost a 5-4-3 double play, but Varela's throw came a little bit high to James, who had to make a leaping grab. But they do get the lead runner out at second base on that 5-4 fielder's choice, as Roaming is now on base for the first time today. Here comes Tim Williams. Williams scored a run in the first and walked. He's 0 for 2. This one's in there for a strike. 0-1 the count to Williams. Williams had really good numbers for the Force as he swings at this one. This is a line drive down the third base line for a hit. And running to third now is Roaming. And that'll be a stand-up double for Tim Williams. Well, right as I was about to say it, Williams had really outstanding numbers before this game for the Force. There he goes with a double down to the third base line. That was his first hit of the day. Of course, really nobody got a hit in the first game. The Force only had 1 hit in that first game. as it was Michael Koval going 4 innings and Cody Erott finishing the job, the final 5, only allowing 1 hit. As this one's called a strike, and it's 0-1 to Cole Johnson. Johnson 2 for 3 in this game. And then in Game 2 of the doubleheader, it couldn't have started any differently, as the Pirates allowed 4 runs in the first inning. This one misses outside and is 1-1. In fact, in that first inning, the Force had 2 hits, which is double of what they had in Game 1. 5-3 the score, top of the 8th inning. Here's the pitch. This one swung on, foul back at the screen. Time is called for by Dylan Lowenstein, who will head over to his pitcher and hand him the ball, make him a little bit of a special delivery there. 2-strike count, so the hitter's going to have to protect the plate here. That is Cole Johnson. Johnson, left-handed hitter, going against the right-handed pitcher. Fastball misses low for a ball. As the Force would really like to increase their lead if they could. They have 2 men in scoring position right now. Of course, the Pirates and Corey Davis want to prevent that from happening and keep this a 2-run game. Here's the pitch from Davis. This one is bounced to the shortstop, and he throws across the first for the out. That is Kyle Jackson who made that play, and that'll do it for the 8th inning. The Force do tack on 1 more run and extend their lead to 2, and they lead 5-3 at the end of 7.5 innings. You're listening on InlandValleyBaseball.com. Well, it's getting to be crunch time here as we head to the bottom of the 8th inning. The Pirates down to their final 2 at-bats as they trail by 2 runs, 5-3 the score, Force on top. Of course, the Pirates won the first game of the doubleheader 3-0 as we are set for the 8th. This one is struck right back up the middle. Shortstop ranging to his left and firing over to first base in time. Delayed reaction from the first base umpire. But Virgin is out right away on the first pitch. As we also have a new pitcher on the mound for the Force, that is Seth Dewey. So you think maybe Seth Dewey would close out the final 2 innings, but actually it looks like the Force do have movement in their bullpen, so maybe he is their setup guy, and they have a closer as well. This pitch is on the inside for a strike, and it's 0-1 to Kyle Jackson. Jackson had a single in the 6th inning in his only at-bat, as this one's a 59-footer in the dirt, and it's 1-1. Kyle Jackson was an all-SCCBL performer last year. Tied for team high, 340 batting average. Dylan Lowenstein is on deck. This one swung on, line drive down the first base line, and that'll be a single for Kyle Jackson. As we mentioned, that right fielder out there, Williams, is very, very speedy, and he was out there in the line in like less than a second. I mean, at first glance, that was struck very hard right down the line. I thought maybe it had a chance of being a double, but Williams was there immediately. So a single for Kyle Jackson. And we mentioned that coming into the game, Kyle Jackson was 1 for 9 on the season, and now he's 2 for 2 here in this one game. So we knew he would pick his bat up as this one is swung on. First pitch hit by Dylan Lowenstein. Fly ball, routine fly ball at that, out to center field, and Esser makes the grab for the 2nd out of the inning. Esser traveling maybe 10 feet to his left and in a couple. Kyle Jackson remains on first. Channing Varela up at the plate. Varela 0 for 3. Flew out, lined out, and struck out. Would love to get off the schneid and get a base hit here and potentially start another 2-out rally for the Pirates. Swings at the first pitch. This one's lifted in the shallow right field. And Tim Williams, that guy is very, very speedy out there. That looked like it might be a bloop base hit, but he got there and made the catch probably about 5 feet away from the infield dirt. And that will be the final out here in the 8th inning. And at the end of 8, it remains 5-3. And welcome back as we head to the top of the 9th. Dave Silvera on the play-by-play. So glad that you could join us for this doubleheader. We are down to what could be the final inning unless the Pirates score 2 in the bottom half and tie it, and we head to extras. as the first pitch in there is a breaking ball for strike one from Davis to Davis. Yes, it is Corey Davis against Josh Davis. This one misses low for a ball. 1-1 the count. Josh Davis, 0 for 2. Walked and scored back in the first inning. Here's the pitch. This one swung on, and this is a skyscraper to left center field, and making the catch out there is the outfielder for the Pirates. And that'll be the first out of the inning. I believe that's Michael Johnson out there in left field. He came in the middle innings for Reynoso. This one swung on, line drive through the right side for a base hit for John Montgomery. Montgomery with his third hit of the day, singled twice, and also had that 3-run double back in the first inning. Well, really, after giving up 4 runs in that first inning, the Pirates have been a much better team the rest of the game, as we have a pickoff throw from Davis, not in time. Here is Elliott Lowell. Lowell yet to reach base. Did have a sacrifice bunt, though. Here's the pitch. This one swung and fouled into right field. Davis comes set, working out of the stretch, checks the runner, fires home. This one swung on, and this would be a fly ball into shallow right center field. And making the catch out there in center field is Virgin for the second out. So 2 flyouts to the outfield here in this 9th inning. 1 single in the middle of them by John Montgomery, who's 3 for 4. I mean, we talked about the one hitter in the first game. John Montgomery has 3 hits himself, and they only could muster 1 the whole first game. As Gino Rudolph steps up to the plate, this is strike 1 to him, and it's 0-1. Rudolph is 0 for 3. Did reach on a fielder's choice, however, in the 4th inning. Here's the pitch from Corey. Bouncer up the middle. Second baseman going to have to backhand it, but that will get through the middle for a base hit. So 2 runners on board here for the Force in the top of the 9th inning. They were trying to get insurance runs here, as they actually did get 1 insurance run in the last inning. It was 4-3, and they tacked on 1 against Corey Davis, made it 5-3. Here comes Brandon Lendanger, 0 for 3. A strikeout, a flyout, and a groundout. So he's done all of it in different ways. Now he's just hoping, for his sake, that he can get a hit. Swings at the first pitch and fouls it out of play. And that was a loud thud, as it must have hit a car in the adjacent parking lot. But if it's that loud of a thud, you must assume that it was at the top of the car, and not a window. 0-1 the count. That's why you don't want to park near a baseball field. The 0-1 is in there on the inside corner for a strike, and it's 0-2. So the Pirates will head to Las Vegas probably pretty much directly after this game. You'd think maybe players will take a shower and pack up a few pairs of clothing and then just head straight to Vegas from then on, as this one misses low for ball 1, and it's 1-2. Then they'll play Team Vegas up there. It's not a doubleheader anymore, which we mentioned earlier in the broadcast. It's just going to be 1 game against Team Vegas, and then the Buccaneers will play 1 game against Team Vegas as well, as this one is fouled out of play down the right field line, and it remains 1-2. But after those games on Sunday, and once they get back here into California from that trip to Vegas, that's when the fun starts, because SCCBL action starts on Tuesday. Davis checks the runner at second, fires home, and this one is inside for a ball. And it looked like the hitter was actually trying to take one for the team there. That is Brian Lendanger, who is 0 for 3. But it was a really slow off-speed pitch, and you think that even if he got hit, the umpire might have made him stay up there and hit. Called strike 3 in at the knees. And Landenger really didn't like that call. But Corey Davis gets the strikeout. And that'll do it for the top half of the 9th. The Pirates are down to their final 3 outs. They trail 5-3. Coming up in the next inning will be Jimmy Mancia, Blake James, and Andrew Alvarez. You're listening on InlandValleyBaseball.com. And welcome back, as Blake James will actually lead things off. He's in here for his second at-bat. He is 0 for 1 with a strikeout, scoring around, and this one's high and in. Some chin music there. 1-0 the count to James. Blake James, of course, from Azusa Pacific, takes this one, and it's 2-0. Seth Dewey on the mound for the Force. Force leading 5-3, bottom of the 9th inning. Pirates down to their final 3 outs. Here's the pitch. Fastball in there for a strike. 2-1 the count. As Charlie Reynoso looked really disgusted down the third base line, and he's kind of walking it off. Here's the pitch. A bouncer over to the second baseman, roaming, and he fires the first for the first out of the inning. So 4-3 on that putout, as Andrew Alvarez will come to the plate. The Pirates down to their final 2 outs now. Started the season 6-0, outscoring opponents 43-8 in those 6 games, as this one is high and inside for ball 1 to Alvarez. And now down to their final 2 outs on what could end an undefeated season. Of course, in baseball, as this one misses high, it's 2-0. Going undefeated is highly unlikely and unrealistic. If you have to lose a game, you probably prefer to lose one to a non-conference team. As this one swung on, line drive lifted in the right field, and making a diving grab out there is the center fielder, Esser. Esser making an exceptional play. Backhanded grab, laying out for it, full extension for the Force. What a play, but what a tough way for Andrew Alvarez to go down for the Pirates when that looked like that might have been something brewing right there. It looked like it could have been a double, but instead it'll be a fly out to center field as Bryce Cherry now comes to the plate. Cherry 0 for 2, swings at the first pitch and lines it right up the middle for a base hit. So Bryce Cherry didn't waste any time jumping all over that pitch. And now here comes Alec Morabito, the number 10 hitter. Morabito walked in the 7th, struck out in the 5th, and reached on an error in the 3rd. Well, you think of what could have been in this game, because even though they fell behind 4-0 actually, 4-0 they fell behind. The Pirates have had 3 big base-running blunders in this game. First pitch is chopped right back to the pitcher, and the pitcher fields cleanly and flips over to first base. So the Force will win 5-3 over the Pirates. That will be the first loss of the season for the Pirates, and it's tough because after the first game where you one-hit the team, it's tough to come back and give up 4 runs in the first and then end up losing a game 5-3 in the second game of the doubleheader. But once again, you're not going to go undefeated in baseball in pretty much any season, no matter how long it is. And if you have to lose a game, you take a non-conference game as opposed to losing to a conference team like the Power or the Team San Diego or the Bucks or any of the teams in conference, the Heat, and the new team, the Orange County Jacks. Those are the 6 teams in the SCCBL, as the red and light blue will meet at home plate for some high fives and congrats on a doubleheader well played by both teams. Well, we mentioned that tomorrow the Pirates and Bucks will both be traveling to Las Vegas. We will not have a broadcast for those games, but they will be playing those games. That is their next games. And then Tuesday, both teams open up conference play. And the Pirates will be opening up conference play in Palm Springs with a game at 7 o'clock Tuesday and Wednesday night against the Power. Power are also undefeated at this moment. They are 6-0. That's what the Pirates made it to before losing this game and falling to 6-1. And then we have on Wednesday, or actually I just told you the 2 Pirate games, on Tuesday and Wednesday at 5 o'clock here at Cal Poly Pomona, the Inland Valley Bucks will be playing the High Desert Heat. So both teams having conference games on Tuesday and Wednesday of next week. Both games will be broadcast. The Bucks will be on our air, and the Pirates and Power will be on the Powers air. So you will go to PalmSpringsPower.com if you want to listen to that one. Of course, stay with us on Tuesday and Wednesday at 5 because the game starts at 5, not 7. You can listen to the Bucks, and we'll try to give you some live listen-ins. Obviously not live look-ins because we don't have video for the Power, but we'll try to give you some live listens into the game in the later innings. Of course, the Power and Pirates won't start till probably about the 8th inning of the Bucks game. But we'll try to listen and see what's going on and kind of try to give you updates since we'll be on the air for the first few innings. And obviously, it's the biggest game up until this point for the Pirates. Well, thanks so much for listening, and wherever you may be, we really appreciate it. We've had a lot of views on our website, and we've had a lot of people listening, over 50 people listening to the game today. And I know on the old SCCBL broadcast, we would have about a good day would be maybe 10 to 13. So to have 50 is pretty impressive, and we thank you for that. And we will see you next time on InlandValleyBaseball.com.